Hello and what's up everyone. As you have seen in the title that in this video I'm gonna show you 10 tips and tricks to improve your gameplay instantly, which will definitely help you to rank up faster and improve your overall game sense. So in the tips and tricks, number 1 we have the score alert. The score alert is one of the most important information in this game. It will help you to make precise and wise decisions in Pokemon Unite. By seeing the score alert, you can easily decide whether you should defend the goal zone or go for the scoring in enemy's goal zone. So let me explain you how does the score alert exactly works and how can you use the information to change the tide of the game. Basically, there are 5 types of score alert in Pokemon Unite. Like, we are in the lead, we have a huge lead, it's a close battle, we are struggling to keep it up, and we are really struggling. These are the 5 score alerts which are shown in Pokemon Unite, and this score alert will show up in 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute mark of this game. So basically, we are in the lead means that your team has scored lead of 21 to 99 points. Similarly, we have a huge lead means that your team has lead of above 100 points. And it's a close battle means that there is a difference of 20 or less than 20 score between you and your opponent's team. And we are struggling to keep up means that your team is losing by 21 to 99 score points. And we are really struggling means that your team is losing by above 100 points. Now some of you might be wondering that what are the uses of this information? Well, let me explain it to you how you can use this information to improve your game sense. The score alert is not really useful in the early to mid game, but once you reach the final stretch, the score alert is one of the most important information. By seeing the score alert, you can easily make decision whether you have to defend the Kyogre or fight for the Kyogre. For example, in the final stretch, if the score alert shows you we are really struggling or we are struggling to keep it up, you should definitely fight for the Kyogre and try to secure it, because at that time enemy has the score lead and Kyogre is the only one who can help you to win the match. Similarly, if the score alert shows we are in the lead or we have a huge lead, at that time try to defend the Kyogre and don't let the enemies take it. I have seen lots of the player making mistake trying to melt the Kyogre even if they have the huge lead, because some of them does not understand the score alert. Don't be stupid players like them. But if the score alert shows it's a close battle, at that time be patient and melt the Kyogre when you get a proper chance. So this was all about tips and tricks number 1. Now let's move on to the next. Tips and tricks number 2. Save your Unite move. As we all know that Unite move is a powerful unique special ability in Pokemon Unite that can drastically change the course of a match. That's why you should use the Unite move with extreme caution, especially when the time reaches the 3-minute mark. Don't use your Unite move no matter what, because if you use the Unite move after the 3-minute mark, most of the Pokemon aren't able to recharge their Unite move before the final stretch. And if you don't have the Unite move in the final stretch, there's a very high chance that you might lose the team fight while fighting for the Groudon. And if that happens, enemy will secure the Groudon and then definitely you're gonna lose the match for a silly mistake. That's why do not use the Unite move, especially while using Pokemon like Defender and Supporter, because these Pokemon takes lots of time to recharge their Unite move. Even the professional player uses this trick in the tournament. They always try to save the Unite move for the final stretch. Anyways, now let's move on to the next one. Tips and tricks number 3. The staking strategy. This trick is very weird and selfish, but very useful in the early game to stake your health item as soon as possible. So this is how this trick works. When you are going for scoring in the enemy's goal zone, let your teammate take the damage first. So what happens is, when your teammate take the damage first, they will be little bit lower HP than you. So enemies are more likely to attack the Pokemon which has the lowest HP. As you can see, I let the Green Ninja take the damage first so that I can easily score, because I know that basic attack of melee attacker Pokemon will only target the Pokemon which has lower HP. This trick is really useful if you want to stack up faster in the early game. Whenever you use any stacking health item like attack weight, cookies, and special attack spec, you can use this weird trick to stack up faster. Or when you play any kind of defender or supporter, you can help your teammates by taking the damage first and let your teammates score. So this was all about the tips and tricks number 3. Now let's move on to the next one. Tips and tricks number 4. The Regilicky. As we all know that in every match, Regilicky will spawn at 7-minute mark, and it takes 120 seconds to respawn Regilicky after being defeated. And in total, Regilicky get respawned for 3 times in a single match. Now you might be wondering what what is the tips and tricks about Regiliki? Well, the tips is always try to kill the final Regiliki of the match, especially when the time almost reaches the final stretch. When the time reaches 2 minutes and 2 minutes 30 seconds, the most important objective at that time is the Regiliki. What happens is, when you take the Regiliki between 2 minutes and 2 minutes 30 seconds, you get a huge advantage in the final stretch, because enemy has to either stop the Regiliki from entering the goal zone or come for the Kyogre fight in the central area. And if they try to stop the Regiliki in the final stretch, you will have the advantage of taking the Kyogre in the central area. But if they leave the Regiliki and come for the fight in the central area, one of you can go in the goal zone where Regiliki has entered and then score 100 goals. So definitely you will have another advantage on there. And while one of your teammates is going for scoring, make sure not to melt the Kyogre. Instead, try to defend it from the enemies, because if your teammate manages to score, you will definitely have the goal lead. So you just have to defend the Kyogre. Anyways, now let's move on to the next. Tips and tricks number 5. The Altaria. As we all know that the Altaria is one of the most important objectives, especially in the early phase of the game. If you manage to secure the Altaria, it will help you to level up faster. That's why I would always suggest you to play safe when the time reaches 9-minute mark, because Altaria will spawn at 8 minutes and 50 seconds and you have to be ready to secure it. So if you manage to secure all the Altaria, you can level up faster than the enemies. And I have seen lots of players making mistake by trying to score in the enemy goal zone at 9-minute mark and end up dying. Don't be stupid player like them, because if you end up dying there, you won't be able to contest for the Altaria. And if that happens, definitely enemy will have higher chance of securing all the Altaria and they will level up faster than you and your teammates. So make sure to play safe and take a proper position to secure the Altaria. So that was all about the tips and tricks number 5. Now let's move on to the next one. Tips and tricks number 6. The passive of Focus Ban. Focus Ban is one of the most versatile health item, which is mostly used by defender and supporter, but sometimes it is also used in all-rounder and speedster as well. And it's because of the unique passive ability of Focus Ban. If you don't know about the passive, well, let me give you a quick explanation about it. Whenever the Pokemon's HP drops to 25% or less, the passive of Focus Ban get activated. It then recovers a percentage of Pokemon's missing HP each second for 3 seconds. And because of this passive, your survivability rate increases even much more in team fight. But the passive of Focus Ban has 1 minute and 20 second cooldown. That's why, just like you save your Unite move for the final stretch, try to save the passive of Focus Ban as well by not getting into major fight when the time reaches 3-minute mark, so that the passive of Focus Ban can help you to survive even longer while fighting for the Groudon. It's like having an extra trump card under your sleeve. Even the professional player uses this trick in the tournament, and it is called the micromanagement of health item. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Tips and tricks number 7. Let the Regiliki enter the goal zone. What I mean by this is, when your goal zone has 20 or less than 20 to be scored, at that time I would highly suggest you to let the Regiliki enter the goal zone so that Regiliki can automatically destroy the goal zone. Because if the Regiliki destroy the goal zone all by himself, the overdunk will be very less or 0. As you can see in this goal zone, there is only 20 score to be dunked. If I let the Regiliki enter into the goal zone, he will totally destroy it and the overdunk will be 0. Similarly, when you kill the Regiliki and if that time the enemy goal zone has 20 or less than 20 to be scored, make sure to destroy it before the Regiliki enters there. Otherwise, the overdunk will be very less. This is a very small but effective trick to have higher score than enemies in the late game. Tips and tricks number 8. The respawn time of buff. The respawn time of buff in Pokemon Unite is one of the most useful information which most of the player overlook. You see, you must remember all the respawn time of buffs and objectives, especially while playing as a jungler. It will help you to rotate precisely throughout the match. So let me give you some highlights of important objectives and its spawn and respawn time. Make sure to remember all these things. The Estelgor and Escavalier will respawn at 9 minutes and 40 seconds and it will get respawn after 1 minute each time you kill it. The top lane and the bottom lane Altaria will spawn for the first time at 8 minutes and 50 seconds and get respawn at 7 minutes and 20 seconds and 5 minutes and 50 seconds and so on. The bottom lane and top lane Regi will spawn for the first time at 7-minute mark and get respawn after 2 minutes each time you kill it, and it is possible to get up to 3 Regi spawn in one match if you manage manage to defeat it quickly. And at 8-minute mark, Regidrago will spawn in the central area. So try to remember all these things because it is one of the most important information you can have to improve your gameplay and get better than average Pokemon Unite players. Now let's move on to the next one. Tips and tricks number 9. Don't take the Kyogre in the final stretch because this is the fastest way to lose a winning match. What I mean by this is, do not try to melt the Kyogre if you have the lead, because if you try to melt the Kyogre, there is a chance that enemy might steal the Kyogre from you, and if they somehow manage to steal it, there is 90% chance that you're gonna lose the match. Even if you had the lead earlier, they will easily score tons of goals with the help of Kyogre's shield. This is one of the most common mistakes made by lots of players, especially in solo ranking. The random player always try to melt the Kyogre even if they have a huge lead and end up losing the winning match. That's why when you have a huge lead, just be patient, stay calm, and instead of trying to melt the Kyogre, just defend it from the enemies, because enemy will be in hurry to melt the Kyogre and they will definitely make a mistake. So wait for the enemy to make mistake and punish them. And once you take down 2 or 3 members of the enemy, then you can try to melt the Kyogre, but only if you feel like you can secure it. Otherwise, just keep on defending it, and if you get a proper chance, then you can try to score. Anyways, now let's move on to the final tips and tricks. So in the tips and tricks number 10, we have checked the hidden bushes. Now you might be thinking that this tips and tricks is for checking the hidden bushes, and yep, you are absolutely correct. By using these tips and tricks, you can easily check whether the enemies are hiding in the bush or not without any teammates, because in solo ranking, usually random doesn't give a proper vision for you. So most of the player might know how to do it, but I believe that there are some players who does not know. In Unite, there are some Pokemon which can easily check the bushes by using their moves like Mew, Greninja, Decidueye, and many more Pokemon like them. Let me show you how to do it. First, let's begin with the Mew. By using Solar Beam, you can easily check whether the enemies are hiding in the bush or not. When you use the Solar Beam in the bush, and if you get this passive stack, just know that enemies are hiding in the bush, because you get this passive stack only if you hit any object. Next is for Sylveon. By using Hyper Voice, when you see this passive stack of Sylveon, just know that enemies are in the bush, because you get this stack only if you hit any object while using Hyper Voice. Next is the Greninja. By using Water Shuriken, if you recover any HP, just know that enemies are hiding in the bush. Even if your HP is full, you will still get the healing animation effect. Likewise, there are lots of Pokemon which can easily check the bushes by using their moves. So that was it, guys, and if this video was helpful for you, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next upcoming videos like this. Till then, take care, bye bye.